Okay, on to Quark. So this may be another long work in progress video. So I kind of cleaned up my area. So Quark, let's look at his skin. We're gonna get these skin tones done first. My client is sending me reference photos of Quark's outfit. He's got some crazy outfits. I found a really cool paint up from a guy in Europe, and I really liked it, but he wants something different, which I totally understand. I really like the color palette and blues and greens. It's really nice. It's vibrant, but really nice. All right, so let's look at his skin tones. So they're kind of, I think what I'm going to do, they're kind of almost, again, depends on which photo you look at and the light it's in. It's all over the place, but I'm going to stick with kind of a medium African flesh look, and I'm going to start off with that. It's kind of like, again, I used, they have these colors for paints. Flesh and all that stuff, but I find that for Caucasian, it's kind of funny that the kind of African American tones actually work best for Caucasian. It's just the right tones for shadows and everything. I'm looking for my, I just stick with the clip. So what I'm going to do is I have some of the semi-transparent African flesh in my brush. I'm going to just mist this on. And we're going to do a lot of washes and maybe some sponging and stuff. I need to change this because I don't want that little clip mark on there. So this will work. Got some blue tack in here. There we go. Okay. So I'm just kind of going to mist this on evenly, so I can still see that primer underneath it. And then I'm actually going to do some sponging to get a little texture. So it's going to look really funky for a while until I really start blending things in. I'm going to do that. Hard to get underneath the chin. Zoom in a little bit here. Do the same thing on the hands. So my goal today is Thursday. I'd like to get the skin tones done. I don't think I'll get them all painted in one day. His outfit's kind of crazy, so you can go nuts with what he's wearing. Again, just missing this on. I'm kind of backed up. I don't care if it covers it up, covers the primer all the way. I actually want to see a little bit. Okay. I'm going to keep that in the airbrush because I'll refer to that later. I'm going to hit this with the hair dryer. Then we go seal it. So we go seal these and we'll come back and we'll punch some texture on. Okay, so one thing I see consistent in photos of him is that his skin has this kind of modeling effect to it. I mean, that's not like perfectly smooth. So I'm gonna go in there, and I say sponge, but I typically use a brush. I like using a brush. I don't know. I tend to. So I'm gonna kind of get this fuzzy brush, and we're gonna use the craft paints because they're pretty translucent, and I want to see lots of layers. So I'm gonna get out one of my awesome clean palettes here, and I need to get some more of this cocoa. This is actually a really good color. I'm just about out of it. So we got some cocoa. I'm going to do some, what is this? Espresso. I'm going to go dark to light. I'm actually going to do a little, probably a little orange in there. The skin has a little orange undertone. And maybe a little red too. So he's going to look funky for a while. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is, we'll see. If this doesn't work out, I can always strip it and start over, but we're going to start off with this kind of Coke, this espresso. So I'm going to put some on my brush and take most of it off, and we're going to go in here and start just kind of stippling it on. And I want to make sure I get down in all the crevices. And the great thing about this paint is that it's thin enough that it doesn't leave a texture in the paint. So again, we kind of want this kind of random thing going on. This is going to be under the skin, so that's why it's going to look funky for a while until we go and start doing blending and shading. This is just the undertone. The picture I'm looking at right now, his skin's got a pretty prominent reddish undertone. So I may mix that red and orange together because I don't think it's really orange. It's kind of a burnt red. Oh, too much. I'm trying to just get a very small amount of paint on my brush when I do this. Turn my camera down a little bit because this is kind of like my work area. Turn off focus, autofocus. Alright, so it's actually looking really good so far. So you see here we kind of got this randomness going on. Which is what we want. Really make sure I get down the eye sockets and the ears and those dark areas. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing on the hands. Okay. All right, that looks good. So we're going to work wet on wet here. I'm not going to seal this between layers. I'm just going to keep going. It'll do two things. It'll just help it blend better. Okay, now I think I want to actually mix some of this red and this orange together. maybe a little bit of this brown. I just want straight red. I want kind of a burnt red. I'm gonna mix it together here in my palette. A little bit of the orange. And this will dry down. But he does have a little bit of an orange, reddish tint to him. Let's see how this looks. Once I'm happy with what I think will be the undertone, I'll go seal it really well, and then we'll start doing some. Probably do we'll probably do a wash on them. So again, he's gonna look funky for a while. So after this red, I'll probably go back and do the brown again. But like right here, that's like looking perfect. Right in that area. Exactly what we want. If I get a little too much in one area, I can just go back with the previous color. Like this. Okay, I'm actually really happy with that. That looks really good. Do the same thing on the hands. Got too much red, so we'll go back to the brown. Again, just lots of back and forth. Lots of layers. So Odo looks really good. I sent photos to my client. He's happy with them. I'm happy with them. I think he looks really good. I guess I'll have to do the communicator. I forgot to do the communicator. He's like, is there even a communicator? He's like, oh yeah, here it is. It's like freakishly tiny. So I'll hand paint that and get that on him. Okay. So we're gonna let this hit this with a hair dryer, see what it looks like. And that looks really good. So hopefully you can see like the modeling we got going on there. Yeah, this is kind of what we're going for. So I got kind of this burnt red undertone going. I can always go back and hit other areas if I feel like I need a little more. Mainly in the ears here, I want to get in the shadows. I think we're gonna do a wash on him. To bring out the wrinkles and stuff. Okay. I missed this little area underneath the ear here. Let's hit that. One thing I like about these craft paints is they blend really, really nice because they're not heavy in pigment, so you can use that to your advantage. They just blend really nice and soft. All right, so I'm gonna go seal these and then we'll come back and do the next step. Okay, so I went and sealed those, and I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna do this cocoa color, this kind of caramel color. And again, I'm just gonna take a little bit and we're gonna work slowly here, see what this does. But I think this is gonna bring it up nicely. Again, this is pretty transparent, so I may do this a couple times with this color. I thought I was gonna do a wash next, but I think I wanna bring this tone up a little bit and add one more layer of kind of texture. It dries down quite a bit too, so even though it looks bright on the palette, it will dry down pretty good. Get more light on them so you guys can see what I'm doing. Come on, Mike. This one's not going to turn for me. That's looking really good right there. I think I may seal this again and just keep building up with this color, because I think this is going to get me right where I want to be by the time this dries down, because the top of the head is like looking really good. He's just a little dark overall, but the texture is there. That I was going for. When I mean texture, I mean the modeling, the different variations in the skin. Not like physical texture that you can feel. But if I seal it and do it again, it won't reactivate and pull up what I just put down. If I just went over it again, there's a good chance I could reactivate what I put down and it would pull up. That's looking really good. So I'm gonna do the hands again, do the hands. I'll do the same thing, I'll seal them and do this again. Let's see what we look like after that. because their paints are so translucent, you have to do it several times. But that's the advantage of them. You get these really great layers and lots of depth in your color. And this shitty brush is perfect for doing this because it just gives random patterns. Alright, so I'm going to seal these and do it again. Alright, we're going to do round 2 of the cocoa. After sealing that and hit it with the hair dryer. So when I seal it, I put it on pretty heavy just to help smooth out any surface texture that I may be getting, but I shouldn't be getting much. Kind of turn the brush as I go too, just to make it more random. A little bit brighter on the front of his face. Do it one more time without sealing just to see what it does. The trick is getting just the right amount of paint on your brush. I don't want too much. Okay, for the most part, I really like him. He's just a little on the dark side overall. So what I think I'm going to do now, I think I'm going to seal him here. And then I think I'm going to do a wash and all the wrinkles, darken those really down. And then I'm going to just kind of build up, start misting on that medium African flesh. And then it should bring things up. So we're going to do that on the hands and then we'll do a wash and come back. Okay, so I thought about doing a wash next, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mist on a little bit of this semi-transparent African flesh. And get it back way up. So I just want to brighten the thing over, I just want to brighten them up overall. I'm just misting this on real light. Of course I run out. Lose all the work I just did. I just want to brighten them up a little bit. Pretty good. Get that on the hands. It's a little dark, so I'm gonna bring them up one more level with another color. I know it's really hard to see what I'm doing all the time because my lights are so hard that everything looks shiny. But I wish Jesse had a transparent instead of African flesh, just semi-transparent. But I guess I could use browns and stuff instead, but okay, so now what I'm gonna do is, I really wish I had some light African flesh. What I have over here, not completely out. Do actually I might be able to use the color. This might be too bright. I'm just thinking out loud. Let's make this too bright. I could add a couple drops of this color from Odo to this. So I'm going to kind of make my own light African flesh. I just mixed in a little of the skin tones that I had going on for Odo into this. This made me bring me up right to where I need to be for the overall tone. I can go and do the shading. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to look at my reference photo again. I gotta pull it up. Yeah, it's pretty good. So I can go in and do some shading now after I do the hands. This overall skin tone's really good. Again, it depends on which photo I look at. I got one that I'm looking at in particular that I tend to like. Yeah, but we can still kind of see all that underlying stuff we did earlier with the brush. And even the box art's actually pretty close. The box art's a little bright in my opinion. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shift this a little bit with a little bit of transparent vivid orange. This could backfire, we're going to see. This is pretty potent stuff. got a little bit of transparent orange in my brush. I'm very lightly missing the sun because it goes a long way. You'll be spraying it and it won't be like it's doing anything, and all of a sudden your piece will be completely orange. So what this is going to do is actually add a little, kind of warm it up a little bit. Okay, that looks good. Very subtle. I'm just shifting the color. Alright, so I'm going to go seal these and we're going to do the next step. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in with some oils and we're going to do some shading and stuff. I've got the skin looking pretty good. Let me turn some more light on here. So, looking pretty good. It may be a little bit on the dark side still. I may bring it up a little bit. So that's why I got a bunch of colors right here. So I've got some... Excuse me, this is, what is this? Wash brown. I've got coagulated blood. I love that name. This is dead flesh. This is dark mud. I got some green and some other red. So for the shadow, I'm going to mix in some of this coagulated blood. And whatever this is, the wash brown. So I've got just a tiny bit of mineral spirits in my brush here. I'm gonna keep this pretty light. A little red, and then we gotta go in and darken around his eyes a little bit too. So I got this on this cardboard because it'll help pull out the oils. Make them dry faster. Looking pretty good right there. And I like to use a brush because I can go in there and basically paint in my shadows a little bit. Try to do this rather than using pastels. I think I can get the colors better that I want here. I get a little too much mineral spirits because I like to use my oils relatively thick because I can go in there and blend them a little easier. So I'm going to get a soft brush, another brush that's just clean, and we can go in there and kind of dab, and just soften up the transitions. Like this. Bring it down a little bit. Oops, got a little bit on the cheek that I don't want. Let's take that off. I have a bunch of colors out here I probably won't use. I just pulled them out just in case. So I put a little bit of oil and then I can draw it out and really get a nice soft transition. And it dries up pretty quick on the cardboard, which is nice. If I need to add a little mineral spirits, I will. back there and kind of reactivate them on the cardboard. So if I get a little too much, like I just did there, I just go in here with a soft brush and I push it up into the shadow and it blends it right in. It's got a lot of wrinkles in here, so I'm just selectively putting oils in them. Okay. So I think you can see that. It's a little shiny right now. I won't do this all on camera because it's time consuming, but give you the idea. So basically kind of like right here, there's a wrinkle, I'm going to just draw it in with a hard line. And then I'm going to go in here with a soft brush and just soften it. Like that, and then underneath the cheek, I'm just going to kind of dab some oil underneath it. Like that. And then I'm going to take my soft brush and kind of blend it in. So I'll have to go back and do some highlighting after this, but this is looking good. So I'm going to do this off camera, I'll come back. Okay, so I did all that shadow detail stuff, and now I sealed it, and now I'm coming in with like a highlight color. And I'm going to start blending this in. This in focus. So I'm not sure you can see it. So on my palette here, I've kind of got this array of colors. This is kind of what I'm working with right here. So I'm not sure if you guys can see this. It's really shiny in my camera, but I can't get the lights where I need them, so you guys can see. So basically, I take a little bit on my brush, and if I got too much, I just dab it off, and I'm just going in here and tapping it on like that's too much. I just take a Q-tip and take it off, but we're just kind of replicating the same thing we did earlier with the acrylics. Just by tapping it on, it's going to just add to the kind of the texture of the skin, and just blending it in into the shadows and midtones and stuff. So I'm just going to brighten them up a little bit on the highlights. I think this is looking pretty good. Just keeping it real light so we can see through everything. Oops. With my fingers, and I get it all over the backside here. Let's take some mineral spirits to take it off here a little bit. So I had to kind of try to mix this color here because I didn't have what I needed just in a tube. So it's a little bit of yellow, a little bit of white, a little bit of that shadow brown, a little bit of the red. Q-tip is good for blending too. So I'm going to continue doing this, and then I'll come back. All right, so I'm just about done with the highlighting. I got a bigger flat brush here, and I'm taking just a very little bit of the oils, and I'm doing some dry brushing to bring out all those wrinkles. I went in and painted all those shadows and the wrinkles earlier, so just very lightly doing some dry brushing to bring those out a little bit more. And now he's looking much better. So lighten him up overall, and looking really good. Back of the head. Just kind of, again, dabbing to kind of tie that all in. So that first color I had down was basically like my mid-tone, like right in this area. That was the color before this is what it looked like before we added any oils to it. Then we added the shadow, sealed it, and now I'm going in and adding the highlights. And anywhere I want that mid-tone color, just leave it. But I'm really digging this. So lots of detail in this sculpt, looking really good. So I'm gonna do this same color on the hands. I didn't do the shadow color on the hands. I'm just gonna go in here and do the hands to brighten them up. And I think I can just do like some dry brushing on this, see. So those oils have dried pretty good on my palette. I don't really want to activate them anymore with mineral spirits, so we're just going to come in here and work on the hands a little bit. Bring them up. So based on my reference, this is looking pretty good. The box art, he's more, I don't know, like lighter in color, but most of the references I've seen, he's got kind of a reddish undertone, so that's what I went with. I liked it. And just by dry brushing, this is bringing in all the details in the hands very lightly. That's what it looks like. Pretty good. You know what I didn't do on that? I missed on that vibrant orange. I don't remember. So the one on the left here has been lightened up, and the one on the right has not. Come on, focus. So this has been dry brushed. This is not. So you can see the difference. Sorry, my camera wants to focus on the background because this is a small item and it's looking for a hard edge. That's how autofocus works on these cameras. It looks for hard edges to focus on. It used to be they look for horizontal lines in a pattern. Oh crap, I got a little bit of the red in there. That's alright, I was going to scrub it in. Didn't mean to do that. Not sure how that happened. I actually may go back and add a little bit of the shadow color. We'll see. So we'll have to let these dry, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. I'll hit them with a hair dryer. Again, I don't want to heat this up too much because vinyl, it'll move. But I can hit them with a hair dryer for a few minutes, and they'll be dry enough for me to seal. Let's see how we're looking compared to the other hand. All right, we're pretty close. Now see, this one I got a little bit of that red in there. I'm not sure how that happened, but I actually kind of like it. So I'm going to this guy, just at the wrist. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. So I'll tell you, I may shift the color a little bit, add a little bit of that vibrant orange just on top because it's looking a little pale compared to my head. The head looks great. I don't remember if I sprayed that transparent orange on the hands or not. So we're going to seal these and I'm going to shift the color just a little bit and then we'll start adding the eyes and stuff. Okay, so I base coated the eyes, I got the mouth and teeth done. I put the little kind of red around his eyes that he's got going on. I may darken that a little bit once I get the eyeballs in. So I'm going to go ahead and do the decals. I'm not going to show that because I've done that before, but he's looking really good. I'm really happy with that. The hands are done except for the fingernails. So I'm going to put the eyeballs in and finish up the eyes, and then hopefully the portrait and hands are done and I can move on to his outfit. So I'll be back when I'm done with this. Okay, so just almost wrapped up here on Quark's portrait. Got the eyes in, detailed. Those just need a gloss coat. I was looking up at photos and he has silver fingernails, so we're going to paint those silver. And we add just a touch of blue to it. Sorry, I'm in front of the camera again. So I'm just going to do some Vallejo silver here, and I've got somewhere. Where is it? Maybe just a touch of Persian blue. I want a cool, like a slightly cool tone to them. So I'm just going to mix this up here. There, and we're going to add just a touch of blue to it. Maybe too much blue. Let's see. Yeah, too much blue. Way too much blue. That's about right there. And we get some clean water. And I'm just going to go ahead and paint these nails. It's kind of cool silver. Take 2 coats, so I've got some water mixed in here. Of course, you guys can't see anything because the light sucks, but I can see it, that's all that matters. Good thing that's vinyl, not resin. That would have broken otherwise. And I'll clean up the little excess with a toothpick once this dries. Can't see what I'm doing, obviously. Okay, so I'm going to do it to the other hand. Seal those, I'll clean it up, seal them, and then I'll gloss the fingernails and the eyes, and then the skin will be done. Okay, so now I got the face and hands done. Now it's the matter of tackling the shirt and jacket, which is going to be the most challenging part of both of these figures, simply because his outfits are so crazy, and my clients want something pretty colorful and detailed. So it's going to be all hand painted. I found a paint up I really liked online from a guy in Europe. He doesn't want to do the same paint up, which I totally understand. Otherwise, I would have done that. We'll do it relatively easy, but not too crazy. Not, it's like 2 colors, maybe 3 colors in the shirt. The one I really like is I don't even know how I would tackle it, to be honest. Where is it? I gotta find it. He's asking me how long these have taken, and I gave him an estimate of how many hours I'd have into these when he first hired me, and now he's asking how long it's taking. The one I really like is this guy right here. So I might use this as a reference. The question I think what I might do is I like the kind of turquoise piping, so I might do that along the collar. So on this shirt, it's sculpted differently. He's got a collar with 2 separate areas, and he's got the center area. So what I might do is do that pattern on the big part of the collar and the big part of the shirt, and then do the turquoise piping in the center and that small part. That may be kind of cool to break that up. And then I actually like this overall. I like the kind of greenish turquoise pants, and then the shirt. Again, this isn't the same sculpt. He does actually have this shirt on in the show with these bands around his arms. So let me see if I can find those, because I've been looking at this like a lot. So the one where he actually has these bands around his arm. Here's one, which is kind of cool. I kind of like this. I kind of want to stay away from the orange and stuff because that kind of matches his skin tones. I went with I sent my client photos, and he says he looks a little dark. Depending on what photos you look at, he goes from orange to brown to tan. So I kind of used my own artistic license and kind of did him the way I thought he would look cool. So that's what I went with. So I kind of want to stay away from those colors because I think it'd be too close to his skin tone. That's why I'm kind of going towards these cooler greens. I like this one. Again, I have to balance how much time I'm spending and how much I bill someone, because I probably will not end up billing him for every single hour I spend on this, because it would just be crazy expensive. And I don't want to bill him 40 hours for one figure. That's what I would spend on a quarter scale. But then again, some 6 scale things take longer than the quarter scale, especially when you have to build it. The building part and prep takes a while. I actually really like this one here, and he sent me this reference too. It's got some purples and oranges in it, and I kind of like this. This look on this shirt would be relatively easy to do. I would just kind of speckle colors on there to kind of get that look, and then I like the metallic, so I might go with this. This is actually almost exactly the same as this sculpt. The only difference is the sculpt doesn't have this band going across the chest, but I think I might do this. So it's orange and purple. Let me save this image, because you did send me this as a reference. Where is it? Is it this one too? So like here, his face is really orange. Again, it's the lighting. So overall, this photo is very orange. In this photo, he's kind of purple. So you have, when you're trying to, in this photo, this is closer to what I have going on right here. This to me looks pretty close. I warmed him up a little bit, but as far as the tones go, that's pretty much what I was going for right there. I just warmed him up a little bit, and he was a little cold looking. So again, it's all in the lighting on these things. So looking for, and like again, this is not accurate at all. But I'm trying to find that outfit. Where'd it go? It's actually this one, I think. Yeah, this is it right here. So I'm going to save this image. And my stomach's going. Here's another one, but it's, again, the photo's not good. So I think I'm going to go with that. I think he sent me, you don't need to see our messages. Yeah, this is it right here. So I think this is the one I'm going to go with. This matches the sculpt more. Excuse me. And I think it's, as far as time-wise goes, it's not going to, knock on wood, hopefully it won't take me too long. I think what the plan is, I'm going to paint some kind of diagonal purple and orange pattern, and then I'll outline it in black. Even though it's not really outlined here. So let's go to it. Let's see. How do I do this? Again, it's just wrapping my head around actually just the logistic, the techniques and how to do it. So that's what I'm struggling with. And I don't have, okay, this is probably the best photo right here. And that's actually the closest to what I've got going on skin-wise. Again, he's pretty orange there. But I think, okay, so we got some purples and some kind of oranges in there. Metallic, and I do have some metallics here. So let's just start playing. I think what I might do first, I might hit this with a gold. Let's see. So this is just gold craft paint. I have never used these metallics before, so it'll be interesting. And again, that's just to go by. It doesn't mean I'm going to replicate that exactly. It may change as I move on. I may change my mind. So let's see what happens here. Since I've already got this kind of warm cream color down already, hopefully this will cover it pretty easily. And since we're replicating fabric, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to have some inconsistencies in the fabric. Actually, I think I might, just to kind of replicate that, I might stipple this on. And that'll give me some variation. I don't care getting the jacket dirty, that's fine. Because that's going to get all covered up when I mask later. So I'll be using the hairdryer a lot. So I want to not get that kind of dry so I can continue stippling and getting this kind of randomness in the fabric. I thought I might, this will all be hand painted, but I might use some masking tape here and there so I can get some patterns more accurately. Okay, so that's pretty good for a base. Now what I'm going to do is I've got some metallic metallic red and purple, and I'm gonna start making some custom mixes here. That's probably more the color I want. So the first color was, what was that called? Splendid Gold. This is called Pink Tourmaline. I kind of got it mixed in there with the gold a little bit. And I think I'm going to, we're going to see what happens here. This is all an experiment for me. I'm going to take some tape here. I'm not sure if this is going to lift it up or what's going to happen. That's actually too thick for what I want. I want the thin stuff. So I'm going to take some thin tape here. Work in my lap here. And just kind of looking at my reference. I'm just going to loosely put this in. Again, the photo is just a reference. It doesn't mean I'm trying to do exactly what's in the picture, but it's just giving me an idea for maybe a pattern. Take it down into the collar. Once I get a technique down and I know it's going to work the way I want it to go, it should speed up. It's the thinking of how I want to accomplish the goal. So that to me is the hardest part right now in doing this. This is something I've never done before, so it's just, you've done something before, it's like, oh, okay, I know how to do that. I know this will work. This is doing something new. So when you mask like around a curve like this, you gotta let the tape kind of do its thing. Okay, so now I'm gonna take this pink tourmaline, whatever it is, I have mixed in with the gold. We're gonna kind of stipple that in a little bit. For the hair dryer. Go ahead and just hit the whole back of the neck. You really don't see that too much, so just stipple this in again. Put another coat. And then we'll. So I'm stippling because I want inconsistencies in the. I want those inconsistencies in the tone. I think I'll make it look more natural. More like a textile. Okay, so there's that. do I have any thinner tape? I think it's the thinnest tape I got. Now I'm going to go right over that color. Again, I'm just kind of making this up as I go. Hope it doesn't pull anything up. I'm just using a Q-tip to lightly push the tape down. So I'm going to do attach a crisscross pattern here. My client wants colorful, so we're going for colorful. This may not be a screen accurate costume, but who cares, right? With this, I'm going to add a darker purple. So this I'm going to do, this is called Amethyst. I'm just going to add it to the purple I just used. Just be a darker shade. I don't care what the inside of the collar looks like, you're not going to see it. Okay, so I'm going to hit that with the hairdryer. I'm going to pull this up, see what I got so far. I'm going to keep building up from here. Probably go steal this here in a second. Okay, so we're kind of off to a good start. Looking a little stripey, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go seal it, and I'm going to do another pattern going up and down. Okay, so we sealed that. I hit it with a hair dryer, and now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just do an up and down pattern. And as long as you do this quickly and you pull the masking tape off, don't let it sit on there too long, you can move pretty quick. And this stuff is not very, I'm going to make this a little tighter. Actually, no, I'll kind of keep it the same. And don't worry about any little, I'm not going to worry about any little mess ups, because I'm going to go in there with a very fine black, and I think we're going to kind of outline some of these patterns. And I'll do a pin wash on the detail. stuff, so we'll clean it up. Okay, I'm going to do a red. This is Ruby. That does for us. I'm going to seal this, and I'm going to do a pattern going this way. Come back and get that going. Okay, so now I have a pattern going this way. Do one more stripe up here, and on this I went in, I made them a little closer together. Like so. For this, I might mix up a, oh, I've got this color. What is this? Garnet. Let's do garnet. That's how it works. I just pick colors and go. See what that does. Just gonna keep going back and forth, layering these up until I get the look, until I get something I'm happy with. think. Getting there. That's looking pretty cool. I'm going to seal this, and I think I'll do a horizontal pattern, and then we'll look at it after that. Alright, so I got a horizontal pattern on there, and let's add a little blue. Why not, right? This is called Blue Sapphire. Okay, I'm going to hit that with a hair dryer. And I'm going to continue to mask on top of this, kind of like I did the first time around. So I'll come back once that's done. All right, next color I'm gonna do is emerald green. I just kept that other tape on, masked across it. Just putting on real light. I'm going to hit that with the hair dryer. And then I'm going to keep this on there and I'm going to mask one more time this way and come back. Okay, so I went in and painted the collar, kind of a different metallic blue. And I went in with some black and I kind of brought out the little panel lines in there and stuff. So now I'm going in here with an Indian ink pen and I'm just kind of doing some hash marks in the metallic pattern. Just kind of following along some of those patterns we put in there. And the great thing about this, if I mess up, I can just take a little damn Q-tip and it wipes right off because it's water-based. So I'm just kind of giving the hint of a crosshatch pattern in here. And the same blue, I went in there and kind of added a couple touches of that just by hand in here. So I'm just kind of randomly, I'm not going to do it. I started to like draw black lines on everything, but I didn't like it, so I took it all off. So at this scale, you just have to kind of give the hint or the illusion of the pattern in the fabric. So that's what I'm doing. So anywhere I kind of had those tape marks earlier, I'm just kind of randomly kind of picking little areas to delineate that pattern. I'll have to go and touch up the inside of the neck here a little bit. But I'm kind of digging this effect here. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but just kind of messed up there. Take this damn Q-tip and erase it and do it again. Like that. Not digging that, so again, just kind of erase it. I can erase it until I seal it because it's just water-based. Keep making it too thick. I just want really skinny lines just to give a sense of a crosshatch pattern in here. Bye. It's going out. Time. My son's going outside and he's like, I'm out. So I'm just gonna keep doing this till I get finished and I'm happy with it. And then I'll seal it. And I'll show it to you. Okay, so I sealed this, but I'm not really digging the line down the middle here in black, so I'm going over with just some metallic blue. It's just kind of thick and heavy, so I'm just gonna go over the black with this metallic blue, which will give me a dark metallic blue. And this is just the craft paint. This is the blue sapphire. So that's nice, and now I'm going to do the same thing on the sides. It's just looking too heavy for me. So I think the shirt looks pretty good. I sent a picture to my client, see what he says. If he digs it, then we'll move on to the jacket. So that just looks way better, I think. The black was just too heavy. I can still see some of it, but it's more of a fine detail than a thick detail. I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna go around the outline of the lapel the same way. I did that. I outlined them in black, and it's just too heavy, I think. And I'll just give one more little bit of detail to the piece. Unfortunately. So you can even see that. A little bit. You need a little water. That's where a lining brush comes in super handy. This one's a little thick. I'm having a hard time getting a thin line that I want. That's why I wipe the paint off on my thumb until I see the line I want. And then you just gotta get it to the surface quickly before the brush dries. So I'm basically just tinting this black line a little bit so it's just not straight up black. I can still see it a little bit, but it's not just super punchy black. If I get a little too much, I can go near the toothpick and do some erasing. I'm actually getting a better result coming in from this angle. Okay. That's my alarm to pick up my daughter. So I think that looks much better. So I'm going to seal that, send a picture to my client, see what he says, and then hopefully he likes it, and then we will move on to the jacket. Okay, so the shirt's done. Looks really good. So what we're going to do now is I'm actually going to do the pants, because it's easier to mask the pants off than it is to mask the jacket to the pants, and that'll give this a chance to dry. So for the pants, I think I'm going to do this. I like this kind of color palette I was looking at earlier. Where is it? Just kind of, gotta find it. This kind of turquoisey green. So that was kind of like my this was kind of like my inspiration for this. And it's not exact, but it's the same color palette and I really like it. So for the jacket, I'm not going to do this checkered pattern. I'm going to do that more of that tweed look. Where is it? I think tweed is the right term for it. More of this kind of look to the jacket because the shirt's pretty busy. So we're going to go with this kind of turquoisey green. So for a base coat, I don't want to use this primer as a base coat. I want to do something a little more closer to that green. So for that, what should I do? Let me get some of this stuff out of the way. I'm going to turn on my airbrush. Let me go do that real quick. I just turn it off 1 second. I don't have like straight out of the bottle a color like that. But let me see what I got, something close to it, and then we'll mix it up. What do we got? What do we got? What's that? Gray. What's this? Don't think that's going to be right. I'm going to pause and come back. Okay, so I found a color that's going to be good for a base coat. GarageKits.us Gravestone Gray. It's kind of a greenish gray. It's actually perfect for this because I'm going to spray on, I think I'm going to spray on this emerald green metallic for the main color, and we'll do some shading. So I'm going to just kind of cover up the shirt here. Actually, I'm just going to put some silly putty on it. to be safe. Because I don't want to lose the 2 or 3 hours I have in work on this shirt. So it's just a rough application of silly putty, just like that. Doesn't have to be fancy. And we're gonna put some of this the pressure's way too high. So this is like a perfect undercoat for the next color. It's almost the exact same color that I'm seeing in my reference, but I want metallic. I want him shimmery. Final one's colorful. We're gonna do colorful. The boots I'll probably do a dark tone. Again, I'm not going for anything that's really screen accurate. I'm just using those as references. Light coat of this to give me something easier to cover. And the top will cover this up easier than I would trying to cover up that primer color, and it would also give the metallic that kind of tint. So when you're working with paints that are really thin, you got to make sure you have an undercoat that's similar to it, otherwise you will be fighting trying to cover it up, and you'll never get it. It'll have the hue of the color underneath it. So primer color and base tones are very, very important to your final color. Okay, let's put that aside. First, let that dry up, and then we'll mix up some of this in a new cup. And I may add a little bit of that color that I just did. I think this emerald green should be around maybe a little too. I've got another green, this one right here. This is aquamarine. This may be the right shade. This emerald may be too dark. Yeah, we'll just kind of do a mixture of those two. Make sure we're using water, not thinner. That's perfect. And I can add a little of this Garage Kits.us to this. And then too much. Add some more of this emerald green to it. It got a little too bright. Get another cup because it's too bright now. I'm going to mix this in with a little bit of this darker emerald green. So I got too bright. This might be just about right. We'll see if this. Hey, hush! I'm recording. We'll see if this. Sorry. Afternoon, kids are home, dogs are going crazy. So I'm gonna try this out. I just gotta get it thinned enough so I'll go through the airbrush. It's pretty thick still. I find there's a fine balance with these craft paints as far as too thin and goes in the airbrush, but then not covering it at all. So we'll see how this does. And I do bump up my air pressure a little bit. It's thicker. Just kind of forces it through the airbrush a little bit. Nicely. It is hard to get a consistent coat of these craft paints because they're so thin. It's hard to get a consistent opacity. Like here, I've got a little heavy on this leg. I'm gonna hit with the hair dryer real quick. That leg got a little heavy right there, so let me try to cover that up. This is a little lighter than I want. So I may just mix up some of the emerald green, go on top of this. This is looking a little too minty. May put a little blue in it too. Let me do the emerald green with a little blue, I think, and go on top of this. Yeah, I think it needs some blue. So maybe what I do is add some of this metallic blue to what I have to darken it down a little bit and shift the color. Okay, so now I got this kind of color going on. Sorry. In the afternoon with the kids' friends coming by, the dogs go crazy. And everyone's yelling for my son because it's his friends and he's in his room playing video games with headphones on. Might be a little light, I think. But what I'm going to do is leave it here. I'm going to seal it, and I'll go and do some shading, and then we'll mix some clears on it to bring it down a little bit. This is the overall tone I want, I think. Where's my phone? I'm pretty good at color matching. It's pretty close. You do this enough times, you get good at it. But I think it needs to be brought down a little bit so we'll get some shading. Okay. So I'm just backed off. Another thing about metallics, it's really easy to get streaks in it. So if you start seeing streaks in your metallic, you just back off, and you want to just really lightly mist it on. So what's happening when you get streaks is the metallic particles are laying down too uniformly, or they're laying down in a pattern rather than randomly, and that's why you see streaks. So you may see horizontal streaks. Well, your metallic particles are laying down in horizontal stripes. To rectify that, you would mist on you just lightly mist on at a 45-degree angle, going back and forth, and so you don't see the stripes anymore, and that'll take care of it. I've run into that sometimes in cars. I was painting metallic, and I got too heavy-handed with the paint. It would start showing stripes. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. Alright, so we're going to hit this with a hair dryer, get this to dry pretty good. Do my airbrush, and then we'll come in and do some shading with probably some green or blue. Don't know yet. Okay, so I went and sealed that. I mixed up some Vallejo transparent blue with transparent green. I reduced it with Mr. Color Thinner, and I've got this kind of dark turquoise, which is going to be, hold on, sorry, my phone keeps blowing up. So I reduced that with Mr. Color Thinner, and now I got this kind of nice transparent turquoise. Now we're going to go in here and do some shading and just bring the tone of these pants down a little bit. They're a little bright. There's a color on the screen, but I think they're a little bright. I'm going to come in here and hit all the shadows first. I'm going to reduce my air pressure a little bit. My son has a game now. Sorry, I needed to cut that out. I was answering a text. I need to reduce my air pressure a little bit. Okay, I'm going to go in here and hit the shadows and stuff. Now this is Mr. Color Thinner in the Vallejo, so the chance of it, I can still get it to pull and run, but the chances are slimmer because it's not a water break, so it's easier to shade with these paints, or at least anything is same with Mr. Color. Alright, sorry about that. My card filled up in the middle of what I was doing, so I just kept doing it. So here it is after I've done some shading. Looking pretty good. I'm going to do a little bit more, and then I'm going to shift this to the blue side a little bit, I think. I'm going to get a little more blue in it, even though my reference is more towards it's almost exactly the same color. I think I want a little more blue in it. So we're going to just kind of sculpt is a lot looser than Odo was for some reason. I like it, it's nice. This is going to be a very long work in progress. Hopefully people will watch it. I don't know. It's just easier for me to do like a couple long ones and a bunch of little ones. I really don't like being up till 1 in the morning uploading videos after painting for 10 or 12 hours in a day. Okay. That's pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump that out. I'm going to add some blue to my mix here. So just add a little bit of more blue. And we're just going to, again, mist this on to shift the color. Oh, dang it, I didn't mean to put that in there. Oh well. One second, I'm gonna get organized here. Alrighty. So I got mostly blue in here with a little bit of the mix I had before, and I'm just gonna back off and mist this on. Oops, that's what I'm afraid of. I got a little. Ah, shit. It's not going well. It's spitting. Okay, so I need to thin this more. I'll come back. Okay, I just had to thin it more. It makes my paint better. It was spinning a little bit. Now, this being a lacquer, you can't, it's hard to clean it up. It's not going to coat, I'm going to kind of rub it off. Alright, so just going to mist this on, shifting the color. And I may hit the shadows a little bit with this blue too. We'll see. Okay. And the shadows a little bit. Speck right there, that spit. Not sure I can get this off. Let me try with the tooth. I can see. And that's looking good. Yeah. Okay. So now I got a little conundrum here. Alright, I gotta try something. I got a little spit up there, and I went to go try to take it off, and I scratched the paint just a hair. So what I gotta do is I gotta go back to this first metallic a little bit. And just barely. Pretty well. Tell you what happened there. Just adding a little more highlight, going back and kind of adding a little highlight. Sometimes you get a little happy accident. That's looking pretty good, I think. Now I'm just kind of going back and forth with my colors here, and so got a little, the airbrush spit, it sucks. There's not much you can do about it. You gotta try to blend the paint back in. Keep spitting. So I'm gonna play with this and I'll come back. Okay, so here are the pants. I think they look really good. I'm gonna take the slate putty off the shirt just to see what it looks like. I think it's gonna be nice to, oh yeah. That is gonna look kick-ass. That's gonna look really good with that. So I'm gonna put the slate putty back on this shirt, and I'm gonna do the boots real quick, and then probably call it a day, and then work on this shirt tomorrow. So the boots, I think I'm just gonna do, let's see what he has for boots. Maybe a dark blue. I'm gonna do a dark blue. I'm not gonna do metallic. Yeah, let's just do a dark blue. So let's go with that. What do I got? Well, let's see if he does metallic on his shoes. I don't know. He might. Let me look up Quark DS9 boots. Not buoys, boots. Let's see what we come up with. If there's any pictures of his boots. So he does have some of these kind of turquoise leather, but that's the same color as what I got going on there. I don't want brown. Could do dark green. I think we're gonna do dark blue or purplish. So let's do that. I'm using my own artistic licensing here. So I'm me get some silly putty real quick. So I'm gonna silly putty around the ankles and I'll come back. Okay, so the boot's base coated in this kind of dark aqua blue, and I'm gonna go in with a Badger Minotaur Ghost Tint Midnight Blue, which is basically black, with just a touch of blue in it. And we're gonna add the shadows. And then we're gonna mist this over and we're gonna bring this down pretty dark. I gotta put this on real light because it's water based and I've got to thin down a little bit. It's gonna want to dry tip a lot. That's my one thing I don't like about these. Shit. I really like shading with lacquers over acrylics because lacquers don't do this. I should actually go seal these. I'm gonna go seal these and then do this. Okay, so I went and did some shading with the Midnight Blue. And now I'm going to just mist it on and bring these boots down darker. Getting just a little transparent black on them too. One pretty dark. And let the brush touch the top edge of the boot, which is no big deal. So I'm going to add to this a little transparent black. Just add a little transparent black to my mix. Here with a hairdryer real quick. Just some straight transparent black. Just gonna mist it on real light until I get the shade I want. It's going on pretty dry. Almost there. It's almost the shade I want. Basically want black or blue with really, really dark kind of shadows. I don't know. I don't know what I want. I just want a really dark tone. I don't want black. Tops of the boots I'll just probably touch in with some black at the very top edge. Got the hair dryer getting a little too wet. Yeah, it's gonna be a really long work in progress. Who knows? 3 hours, 4 hours, who knows? I don't know. I'm just keep recording. I may split it up. I don't know, we'll see. I may split it up into Odo and Quark. Maybe some weird editing, but it's alright. Okay, I think that's about where I want them. Take this silly putty off. Let's see what kind of touch-ups I got. Yeah, so just got to touch up that top edge there. So I'm going to seal this and then touch up that top edge and then seal it again, and we'll take a look at it then. Okay, so here are the pants and the boots, and they turned out exactly how I wanted, so that's always a nice when that happens. So we're going to let this dry overnight, call it a day, and then if I got time tomorrow, I'll mask up the pants, and then we'll work on the jacket. So we'll see how these boots and pants are going to look with the shirt. I think it looks pretty freaking nice. So there you go. Let this dry overnight, and we'll continue tomorrow. Okay, so moving on to Quark's jacket. I masked off his pants and the shirt, and I put down a layer of Mr. Color purple as a base coat. And just hit it with a hairdryer. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do like a speckly kind of thing on this. So I've got some Mr. Color GX black metallic in my airbrush, number 201. Got to thin it a little bit, got my air pressure turned down quite a bit because I want this to kind of go on speckly. So let's see what this looks like. So I'm going to back off and just kind of mist this on from a distance. I'm not putting it on real wet, I'm just kind of real slowly just putting it on. see how this looks. And then what I want to do is I want this to be like a dark metallic purple. And I don't have that color, so these GX metallics are pretty translucent, so they kind of go on like a almost like a clear metallic. So I might crank this up a little bit and put it on a little wetter here in a second. We'll see. Actually, for some reason, my air pressure just caught up. Yeah, so I'm gonna put this on a little wetter. It's not gonna actually be black. It's just the metallic particles are kind of black, more like a dark silver. Kind of miss this on, get an even coverage. Build it up till I get the tone I want. I want it pretty dark. I kind of want it to kind of I still want to see the purple underneath it. The trick is getting an even coat of this. That's looking pretty good. So I'll probably go steel, because I think I'm going to go back in with my acrylics that I used on the shirt and kind of speckle those on top of this. I brought a bunch of Mr. Metallics out, but I don't think I'm going to get the effect I want. Okay, so we kind of got this dark metallic purple going on. This looks pretty good. So I'm going to hit this with a hairdryer and then I'm going to seal it, and then we'll come back. Okay, so now I have my airbrush is some metallic, what do I have in here? Emerald green, the acrylic. And I got my air pressure down low, and I'm just here kind of speckling this on. And it's actually just kind of giving me it almost looks like a color shift paint now. It's not doing what I thought I was going to do, but it looks cool, so we're going to go with it. Turn my air pressure down some more. I'm kind of pumping my airbrush so it gets a more random look to it. It's actually kind of cool. It kind of gives it a color shift look, which I was not anticipating. Do the hair dryer. actually kind of a cool effect. So now depending on how you look at it, it turns from metallic purple to this metallic kind of turquoise color. It's kind of neat. I'm going to do a little more of it. Just thing it in my airbrush, keeping it on the thicker side. Yeah, keep it moving when you do it. This is kind of cool, so we'll just go with this kind of color shift look maybe. I'm going to do one more color on top of this. Oops, I got a little too much. I'm going to seal this. So I'm happy with the way this looks. And then I'm going to go over top of it with a crimson red or something like that. And see what that does. But I want to seal it first because if I don't like it, I can just wipe it off. And then we'll go in and do some shading, and then we'll kind of darken it down a little bit. Alright, that's looking pretty cool, I think. I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but it's kind of color shifts from purple to green. Alright, I'm going to go seal this, and then we'll do another color on top and see what it does. Alright, so to my airbrush I added pink tourmaline, and I'm going to do the same thing I did with the green. I'm just going to kind of lower my air pressure. I'm going to kind of pump it on, and this should give me a little bit of a pink hue. So I'm just trying to tie all these colors together and see what it does. Let me turn up my air pressure just a little bit. I'm just testing over here on this paper so you can see what it's doing. Yeah, that's looking cool. This is a cool effect. It's kind of a little happy accident. And I was trying to do one thing and something else happened, and I'm going to go with it. So then I kind of got this color shift from purple to turquoise to this pink color, which is perfect because that's all the colors we have in the shirt, so pretty close. And then the underlying turquoise ties back into the pants, And I was looking at the turquoise pants this morning and like, oh, it kind of ties back into the lapel and not the lapel, but the collar of the shirt and the trim. I didn't even plan on that. So now Quark has this really cool shimmery color shifting jacket. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to seal this one more time, and then we'll go do some shading. And for shading, I'll probably use, I don't know, let's see what I got in my ghost tints. Okay, we're gonna stay there. That's cool. That's a cool looking effect. It's like a chameleon jacket. So I got purple, I got some of that green in there, and I got some of the pink. So that is a neat effect. Yeah, happy accident. So I'm gonna hit this, seal this again, and then we'll do some shading. Okay, so I'm gonna do this off camera, but I'm going in real subtly with some Badger Minotaur Ghost Tint Purple, and it's just dark enough to give me some subtle shading. So I'm gonna go around and do that in all the crevices, all the creases and stuff, and then seal it, and then we'll take a look at it. Okay, so we're looking really good. So I just sealed it, took the silly putty off and the tape off. I got a little touch up to do on inside the neckline, but this is looking really sharp. So I'm gonna let this dry for a while, do my touch ups, and then we gotta hand paint the rest of this, and the jacket will be done. Okay, we're in the home stretch here on Quark. So I didn't show it on camera, but I hand painted the little buttons in the center of his jacket gold. I just got done painting the bands on his arm in black. I just sealed it again. So once this sealer dries, I'm going to go in, and he's got these little markings on the bands. And I'm just going to lightly paint those in a metallic. Probably, I might do blue. The blue on top of there will look good because it'll turn nice and dark, like a dark metallic blue. So after I get that done and seal one more time, I'm going to put the hands and arms on, or the head and the hands on, and see what he looks like. But he should be done. So I didn't record this stuff, and I won't record painting those little emblems. I have to be right up in my face to do it, but he's looking really good. I'm digging the colors. That purple jacket looks really good. It's nice and iridescent. Still got that kind of color shifty thing going on where it goes between purple, the bluish green, and a little bit of that red, depending on how you look at it in the light. It's pretty cool. The colors are all working really well together, so I'm digging it. So yeah, when we come back, Quark should be done. Okay, so Quark is done. Looks really good. Haven't sent photos to my client yet, but he's done. Put his hands in. Got the nice little drink there that I fill with clear resin. And his portrait looks really good. I'm super happy with the portrait. Yeah, looks really good. So let's get them both together. There's Odo and his sleeping whatever thing filled with resin, gold resin. So we have liquid Odo, and then we have solid Odo. So yeah, that's filled with gold resin. And there we go. So these took a while. You know, I don't know. I have to say easily 60 hours. Just because you're starting with a kit, and you got to build it, you got to prep it. Odo actually took longer than anticipated. Quark's outfit didn't take as long as I thought. I thought it would take a lot longer to do his outfit. It would have taken me, if I didn't have anything else to do, like yesterday or today, I could have gotten Odo's outfit probably done in a full day, like a 12-hour day. A full day for me is 10 to 12 hours of painting. So You probably can't hear me from behind the mic. But yeah, I'd say about 60 hours worth of work between these two. But they look good. So I went with, went online, looked for reference photos. Odo's outfit's kind of my own creation. The pants, I saw online. His boots, I just did a darker version of something on. I saw the jacket is just kind of what I thought would look good with this. I was trying to do something and it turned into something else, so which turned out nicely. So we got this kind of color shifting jacket going on. The metallic blue on the wristbands ties back to his shirt, and the little highlights on the collar of his shirt there tie back to the pants and the boots. So those all work really nicely together. Odo, his color scheme is pretty plain. It's just tans and golds, but looks good. So that's it. These projects are done. I'll take photos tomorrow, along with the Hellboy that I finished a couple weeks ago, because I've been waiting to get photos of that done. And for everyone who watched, I appreciate it. Thanks for sticking along. It's going to be a long work in progress. But the next project is another Hulk, which I'll start next week. And as always, thanks for watching. Catch you guys next time. Bye.